Boundless Authenticity Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the Boundless Authenticity Podcast. If you're new to the show, then hit like and follow. But if you've been hanging with me for a bit, thank you so much for being a part of the journey. It's because of you that this podcast exists. Today, it is my honor and privilege to speak with Lindsay Manfredi, who is a musician, author, speaker, life coach, and truth teller with a passion for helping others. And honestly, I gotta tell you something. I've been in the music industry, and I've never, ever seen anyone look so grateful to be holding an instrument on stage ever. And she's best known as the bassist for the platinum-selling rock band Cold, who has 2 gold albums under their belt. Lindsay has spent most of her life on stage and in the trenches, just searching, stumbling, healing, and rising. Most notably for this episode, she is the author of Unfuckwithable, a guide to inspired badassery, and her follow-up book, The Girl Who Cried Love, A Pivot to Self-Worth, is a reclamation story for anyone who has ever lost themselves in love, only to find something even greater on the other side. She's also a 2-time TEDx speaker and has spoken on the power of music and the transformative impact of organizations like Girls Rock Indianapolis. She's a passionate voice for self-love, self-worth, empowerment, and radical healing. And today we're going to be talking about The Girl Who Cried Love. This book is insanely good. It boasts 5-star reviews, and I think it came out on my birthday, August 27th. Some of the reviews are just incredible. One person wrote, Lindsay Manfredi's memoir is a deeply personal journey through shame, heartbreak, and self-destruction, and ultimately resilience. From a childhood of secrecy to a lifetime of toxic relationships and searching for love in all the wrong places, Manfredi doesn't shy away from the hard truths. Other stuff says it's a hauntingly poetic tale that explores the complexities of longing, loss, and self-discovery. This person got really poetic with it. They were like, with lyrical prose, emotional depth, the story follows a young woman navigating the blurred lines between reality and desire. The novel's dreamlike atmosphere is both beautiful and unsettling, pulling readers into a world where love is both salvation and curse. I mean, that is even better than anything I could have found to say about it, because I started reading this thing at like 11:40 at night, and I was still reading it after 2:30 in the morning. I could not put it down. I'll start by saying something that's right at the front of the book. This book is dedicated to all of us who have looked for love in all the wrong places. And I thought that was a beautiful way to start. So Lindsay, how's it going with you?
It's going all right. I'm very proud of finally getting this project out into the world, and been working on it for over a year. And it feels really good. I'm getting some great feedback and amazing positive messages from readers, and I couldn't be more grateful. Yeah,
well, as I said, I told you I was going to try to get as much of it in my brain as possible, because everybody has a book. But when I started reading your book, I pretty much just wanted to throw everybody else's books out of the window because it was so compelling. What also really caught my attention from the very beginning is how real and raw and authentic and courageous and honest of a person you actually are at the core, to share something that requires so much vulnerability. And a lot of people out there need to read this book, because a lot of people are probably in a place that they feel exactly how you felt. And it just helps. It just helps to know that somebody has gone through that and come out on the other side, especially with relationships. And women get stuck in cycles of codependency for reasons undefined, and just give away their power and their self-worth to absolutely nothing. And so I don't know if you know that what you've done with this book, but it's a big deal, honestly.
Well, thank you very much. And that was why I wanted to write it so real, because I read a lot of personal development and self-help and memoirs, and listen to podcasts, and there are always people talking about, oh, well, this was a toxic relationship, or just books ambiguously talking about toxic relationships. And every time I hear something on a podcast, or I'm like, well, what happened? What was going on? Was, their jealousy? Was there cheating? Was there addiction? Like, I really wanted to know if their toxicity was the same kind of level of toxicity I was dealing with. So that's why I wrote it so honestly, because I think that we all are going through some kind of healing journey, some perhaps more than others. But in losing this love that I had for this human that I was with for the last 3 years, and just really seeing it for what it was rather than the dream and the potential I had in my own head, I know people do that all the time, men and women alike, all sexes, all genders. It's what we do. It's easy for us to do and lose ourselves in love. And I just felt in my heart, I was being called to break it down so other people could see that they aren't alone. And we can say, fuck it, and go back and really get to know ourselves and fall in love with ourselves, because ultimately we settle because we settle out of fear and low self-worth. And I believe that if women and men alike can just be so true to who they are and be so confident and love themselves, they're not going to put up with bullshit. They'll be able to recognize the red flags and just say, this isn't for me, because we don't have to have someone else to complete us.
It's true. And one of the things that you kind of left in there for those with eyes to see, it was a question: wouldn't life and love be easier to navigate if we actually knew who we were, what we stood for, and placed a high value on our own integrity? And integrity is the biggest pandemic. It's that thing that has just left the chat and is like, fuck it. I don't want to do with planet Earth anymore. I'm going somewhere else. And as a person who works in mental health, one of the biggest values that people forget to even put on their list of values is integrity. And I think that that's like a crisis, honestly.
Well, and Jahan, I haven't always had integrity, as we all read about. I've had my own little demons or my vices that I have lied about, that I have hidden, that there was a lot of shame. And I think that when you decide that you want to live a life with integrity, it really does ask a lot of you, of yourself. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't want to do that. And that's why I just love the Elizabeth Gilbert quote in the beginning of chapter 15 or 16, where she talks about, like, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do that hard change. Like, it sucks. It's ugly. It's messy. It's raw. And it takes time. It takes dedication. It's not. And one of the other reasons why I called the book A Pivot to Self-Worth instead of The Pivot to Self-Worth is it's not a one and done deal. It's not like, oh, I've got self-worth today, I can just move on to the next thing. Like, it's a constant pivot to who you are, because we have those negative voices and the things that we say to ourselves, and being conscientious of what we're telling ourselves and stopping that in its tracks. That's what creates change. And that's what like rewires the brain.
Yeah, I agree with you. Some people will see it today and don't get it tomorrow. And some will see it and be like, oh, shit. And kind of make these self-justifications to keep it in place because they think they're helping themselves and they don't mean anything by it. And where I was going before you spoke was that without integrity, all of your other values lose power. And I think that people are so quick to judge each other and try to figure out reasons why people make certain decisions and stuff like that. But again, it's that we don't look at our values and we don't know the importance of each thing. We don't know how to prioritize and put things in place. But where in our lives do we actually learn that? It's all stuff we have to figure out on our own. And nobody ever says, hey, child, you need integrity first and foremost, or your life is going to suck, you know?
Oh, I agree 100%.
Yeah. I love how the book is so transparent about childhood wounds and shame, and you have no problem sharing what went on. And it starts with this really gripping story. I mean, it could almost be like a movie or something. You talk about your upbringing and your early family dynamics. And I thought to myself, if I feel like I have this much in common with Lindsay, I wonder how many other people out there are going to read this and really feel that, dig their roots into it, and then be like, okay, this is it. This is the slap in the face that I actually needed to get myself in gear, you know?
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say you're welcome. Thank you on behalf of anybody that's going to read this, because I just know I feel a great deal of compassion for a lot of my clients and just people that I listen to. And I know that this is what's needed. This is a big gift to the world, honestly. A lot of people struggle with secrecy and shame, just like you did. And it's just, you know, a lot of the times you need the example to transcend. It'll unlock something in someone.
Well, I definitely hope that it helps. I want to serve through this book. I want to help people. I have so much compassion and empathy for others. And I also feel like if we can eliminate our excuses and we can forgive our past and we can, you know, come to terms with our protector parts, like Gabby Bernstein talks about in her book, Self-Help, it really opens unlimited possibilities. We are just unlimited in our minds, and we're the ones that create these limitations. And I just believe in the quantum, and I believe in the universe, and I believe that we can do whatever we want, but we have to get clear on what we want. For me personally, like, I really want to be of service to other people, to help others get to a place where they are just delighted and excited about life and just going for the things that they care about.
What I was going to jump in there and say, though, is that I did notice that you talk about your connection and your belief in the universe. And even before it was in place, you acknowledge that there was this substance in which we all live and breathe that seemed to be supporting you just to get you out of these challenges, you know? And that was incredible to me, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that would teach a good lesson about just letting go and learning to actually trust even the traumatic events, trust that they're going somewhere. And if you just make good choices, do your best, that you can actually, you know, do more than just get by with the skin of your ass, essentially.
Right. I mean, I don't even recommend doing good choices all the time. I think that the mistakes that we make, I believe that what is meant for us will not pass us by. So I don't think that we can lose anything that's good for us. I don't, if it's meant to be in our lives, it's going to come back, even if it's gone for a while. And so I don't think that you need to live perfectly. And I think this, one of the things I've struggled with, especially in the last 5 years or so, as I've been looking for my place in this industry, in the self-development, like with Unfuckwithable, is I always felt like I had to be perfect. And I never was. And I think that pressure added other pressures where I would eventually just say, fuck it. And like, you know, drink a bottle of tequila or whatever I would end up doing, just putting things on the back burner, not feeling like I was worthy or good enough, or I had enough people behind me to support it. And I think that when I got sober at the beginning of the year, I lost all excuses. I had to truly step into what I said I wanted to create instead of just talking about creating it. I had to create it.
Yeah, it's true. I think a lot of us just fall victim automatically to a case of the fuck it's, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. They need to start diagnosing the fuck it's as an actual thing.
Well, it's funny because now fuck it is my favorite word in like taking chances. So now I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. Fuck it, I'm going to do that. Like that. So now it's turned the fuck it into a way better alternative than what I used to say, use it for.
Well, this interview is going a completely different direction than I wanted it to, but I like it. I still have a bunch of questions for you, but before we move into
okay, let's go.
I do want to say this to you sincerely. Do not ever underestimate the power that you have as a creator, as a musician, because I can tell you what, you can tell him I said this. I owe Scooter my entire life. I would not be sitting right here if I had not heard 13 Ways to Bleed on stage when I was 13 years old. Here we are with the fuck it's again. Said fuck it because I just always wanted to be a musician. And I got asked to play like a surprise Spanish dinner or something at school. And I was like, I don't know anything these people are going to like. So what did I end up playing? No one. And they loved it.
Oh,
and I was like,
I love that.
Yeah, I was finishing the ending riff and like wincing, expecting rocks to fly at my head or something, because you're dealing with a Christian population, right? And all of a sudden, everybody just clapped, and they were like, "What the fuck? I never heard nothing like this before." And
I love that.
Yeah, it gave me the courage because, much like you, I felt oppressed by social standing, religious beliefs. Things weren't great in my parents' relationship. I needed music, and I needed someone like Scooter who knows how to put his whole heart into what he creates and does it in such a way that you feel it instantly. So I feel like a lot of people that gravitate towards cold, it's actually like a niche market in a way, because you gravitate towards the music because you feel the feeling before your mind even interprets what it could mean for you, lyrically and stuff like that. And it just is one of those bands that heals people, and just never underestimate that power that you guys have to do that. It's going to be the thing that makes sure that cold is forever timeless. There's going to be kids just like me forever that are going to stumble onto it just by accident. And one of those songs is going to save their lives and set the entire trajectory of their life. Because if I didn't become a musician because of that moment, I would have never have transcended my own childhood traumas, my own issues with drugs and alcohol that then led me to work in mental health. So, never underestimate it. I can't repeat that enough.
Oh, well, I will let Scooter know that. That's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. But let's get into the questions that I have for you.
Okay.
When I read it and you were talking about wearing your confidence like an armor while still struggling with the self-worth issues, for those who haven't read it, I need to ask this question. Like, what was the moment that finally forced you to put that armor down and actually just face the raw truth?
I think that as you're reading the book, I'm taking you through the relationship that I was in over the last 3 years. And I think that just the ending of all that, when I really feel like I was being gaslit for most of the relationship without ever realizing it. Like everything was blamed on, oh, Lindsay got drunk, or, oh, Lindsay fucked up again, or, oh, and I was really dealing with someone who really I don't even really think that he liked me. Like there was always some sort of excuse, or I'm not sure, I don't know. It was just so wishy-washy. And like after I tell the story of watering the plant, something after like years of just being completely disappointed, and I was just like, something kind of snapped in me. And like I'd been sober for 6 months, and getting back into that relationship dynamic after I had been sober. And I just knew that I wasn't, like, you can't blame me. I mean, I literally gave everything that I could to this relationship. And it was just clarity, I think. And because I was so clear on everything that was happening finally, that's what I'd started writing the book after the last tour, but I never knew how this relationship was going to end up because I thought I was going to marry this person. And, you know, it still hurts. It's still a very new breakup. It's only been 3 months. And it's been 3 months since I've seen this person. And it's just, I don't know. I was healing as I was writing. I was hurting as I was writing. I was living it, what I was telling you. So that may be what contributed to it feeling so real and raw, because everything was real and raw at the time I was writing it.
As you are in your journey right now, acknowledging that self-worth and self-love are things that you have to continually fight for every day. How do you really feel about having to take that? And what advice would you give to others that hear you say that and they're like, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to have to do that. I don't want to have to fight with myself. Or they might think that they have to fight with themselves, but does it really have to be?
Well, I mean, is it a fight? I think that it's empowerment. I think that when you we're distracted. We're too fucking distracted by our phones. Like, if you're going to be distracted, put on the Gaia channel, watch Dr. Joe Dispenza Rewired, get podcasts, like go on a walk. Like, we've got to start taking care of ourselves, our bodies. We've got to start taking care of our mental health. We need to start eliminating the bullshit that we allow in our life and being taken advantage of, and the people who just bring this negative vibe. Because as soon as you start eliminating people, it allows room. It's the vacuum effect for the people who are going to serve you. And I'm not talking about like serve you and like kiss your ass. I mean, the people who are going to be behind you to help you become a better person in general. And if you don't want to be that person, then fuck it. It doesn't matter. This book isn't for you. But for those of you who are searching and actually want to do something creative and are, you know, have been stuck in patterns where you're holding yourself back, or you're allowing someone or something else to hold you back, then this book is for you.
So true. I mean, I'm a hypnotherapist. I specialize in subconscious self-sabotage. So I know firsthand with myself and in others that it's these negative automatic programs that just take over throughout the day, that, you know, you might think you're doing something that is going to keep you safe, but underneath that, there's, I'm not enough somehow. I'm not safe enough somehow. And I know that many people who read this will see parts of themselves in this book. There's no fucking way that you can read this as any random person on the street and not be like, yeah, that happened to my life in some way, unless you have a perfect life. And if that's true, where the fuck are you? I want to shake your hand. You know, like, for you,
perfection is overrated.
Absolutely. And perfectionism is a form of self-sabotage. This thing that you have to get everything right for yourself and everybody, or everybody has to fit your exact way of being. How did you deal with your first realization that, you know what, I'm fucking up my life and my relationships because I'm afraid?
Well, how did I deal with it? I had to eliminate everything. I had to accept for one, that the person that I thought loved me and was going to be there didn't have the balls to show up the way that he needed to. And I had to accept that. So it was a lot of forgiving myself and like knowing that this isn't me. I'm a beautiful, radiant, amazing human who would do anything for anyone. So this is not a me thing. This is a them thing. And I can't let them, like Mel Robbins says, let them lose me, but let me grow from it. And I think that a lot of this comes with age as well. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Bashar, but I watch Bashar every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't get some Bashar in my life, because it's truth. And we are the ones that settle for 82%. And I was having a discussion with Sierra Swan last week on her podcast. And it's like, oh, well, we think that, oh, well, this is okay. I mean, we can't have it all, right? Like, so we're settling for things that, oh, well, not everybody can get it right. But that's just kind of bullshit. I think that we settle out of fear because we're afraid that we're not going to get actually what we want out of someone. But we can. When we show up for ourselves in the way that we want someone else to show up, it's like attracts like. It's a law. It's impossible for that not to come into your life. But that requires so much faith. That requires so much integrity. That requires patience. But when you know it's on the way, I guess patience doesn't really matter, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now in the moment. And everything comes at the exact perfect time. And when it brings so much peace. Like, I'm not worried about who I'm going to date next. I'm not worried about what's going to happen next. I'm living in the moment and just enjoying life for what it is now. And just so grateful that I had these lessons, even though they broke me. But they didn't really break me. I'm just rising.
True. And I would add to that for the audience to take away that, compassion and empathy need to be harnessed too, because you realize that when you're on this journey, that while you do attract things, you'll still run into people that are just genuinely struggling and they want to put it on you. And it's like the saying goes, nobody's ignorance is your responsibility. Like, you don't have to onboard that and then think that you're doing something wrong and, you're manifesting somebody else's foolish behavior. It's not always the case. And you learn as you practice, you learn how to tell the difference. You really do. And it doesn't take that long either. Mm-hmm. So you just have to have the courage to start.
Yes. And I think that you also have the courage. You need to set boundaries for yourself. Like, know your energy level and know what you are and are not going to put up with. I mean, I always tried to save everyone. Oh, if I can just love him enough, if I can just prove enough that I am like this great human, like, fuck it. That's when you say, fuck it. Like, don't do that. It really is about harnessing yourself and spending time, because I'm not special. I just do things different. And I have fallen like everyone else.
I'll tell you what your book re-taught me. It's never to judge a book by its cover, because you could easily look at pictures of you, look at you on stage and see you smiling and see you have so much joy and just be on this really positive vibe and not realize that somebody went through all of this stuff or could be going through all of this stuff as you were in some instances,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was crying when I got off stage at Incarceration after playing an incredible show. I went through some times, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. Still, I would never have thought this would have come out of your brain and you'd be like, this is what happened in my life. And this is what made me who I am. I would never have thought of it. And that's what's just astonishing. I don't know. Like I've said, I've never seen this much raw truth in a book before. And I read a lot. I probably never go without a book in my hand. And I was just in shock. Like, my jaw was on the floor. And it made me instantly, like, when I got halfway, I was like, I definitely have to ask you, what was the most painful chapter to write?
I think that the last part of the book were the most painful. I want to say chapter 14 and the beginning of chapter 15. And when yeah, chapter 14 was definitely the hardest chapter to write, because once we get into chapter 15, we're turning the story around after you get a little more heartbreak. Ugh. But just thinking back, I can't tell you how many times, Jahan, that I had to pivot out of being angry and thinking about the moments that would just come in my head that I would just start to stew on and be angry about, where I had to say, stop, Lindsay, stop. And I think that a lot of times it's so easy to just stay in that anger phase, that how dare you phase. And, you know, I'm great. I'm so grateful every day that I am not there. And I think that every single day, I just remember there was a day 2 weeks ago, I was nannying for my friend's daughter, and it was like 3:00 p.m. And I had this realization like, oh my God, I haven't thought about him once today. It does eventually with time get a little bit easier.
So let me see if I'm getting what you're saying here. Anger actually became the catalyst for a lot of change for you.
Oh, I think that anger is a catalyst for lots of change. Again, I think that it's so important to feel all of your emotions, but it's just, what are you going to do with that? How do you take that and put it into an energy that's actually serving you?
So having said that, then what was the most liberating chapter for you?
I think 15 and 16 were the most liberating. I think that finally just releasing and just saying fuck it again, and just really honing in on, I'm here for a reason. And perhaps all of these stories are my purpose, so I can help others get through it as well.
So have you experienced any backlash since this book has been out?
I have had nothing but incredible feedback about this book. I have not heard from anyone that has read it and hit me up. So I don't know if I'm going to, but at the same time, I don't think that I was unfair. I tell you from the very beginning that there are two sides to every story. I'm just sharing my side. I also have zero qualms in pointing out exactly what I did that was shameful. So I really wanted to be transparent. But no, I have not had any backlash so far. Fingers crossed that I don't have any backlash.
That's good. You send them to me, I'll punch them in the balls.
Well, I don't use names. I don't even use like letters of their like first. And I deleted. I had some pre-readers that read it. So the book, like the soft launch happened before the book release date was on 9/9, and I intentionally chose 9/9 for the release date because it's a 9-year and we're closing it out, and I'm very like into astrology and such and numerology. I'm having a Red Bull, by the way. I'm going to 9 Inch Nails tonight. I'm usually in bed by 10, so I just know that I'm going to need a little energy today. I haven't had a Red Bull in probably months, but I'm like, I need a Red Bull. So I forgot what I was getting ready to say.
Well, I don't know either, but
I don't remember.
Yeah, I will say this though, like when you read the book, it's like, why would she make this up? It's like, who would make this up? There's so much realism. Like, why would you lie about any of this in the first place? It seems a little bit sadistic.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing that's, yeah. If anything, I left things out. Like, there's more. And I think that I'll probably be able to go into it a little bit more on social media. Like, for example, a month after, like, I sent the my publisher had the book and we're like doing it. And I was at a Botox appointment with my girlfriend, Jess, and we were walking out and she was like, I'm going to smoke a cigarette real quick. And I said, okay, cool. And I was like, I'm so proud of myself. It's been like, almost 60 days. I haven't heard from him. I'm doing okay today. And literally the moment that I said his name, my phone dinged and it was an email from him. Out of nowhere, out of the blue, it was such a shock. Like we were both freaking out a little bit. And I read this email and it was so gaslighting and it was so not true. And it was so, it was just like almost like a little reminder that, okay, Lindsay, you made the right choice. This is not your life anymore. And there've been some stories like that have happened post the book being sent into my publisher. And I don't know. I don't know.
But that's a positive thing though, because it's good to have those moments.
Yes.
You're like, dodge that bullet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But, and I forgive everybody that has been in my life. And I wish everyone nothing but the best and the best health. And it's just, this is part of my journey, I guess.
Well, it's the good with the bad and the bad with the good. And you just do your best, right?
Yes, for sure.
You know how some people transcend something and they say, well, if I could, I would do it all again. Does that fit the bill for you?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I would have done anything differently, to be honest. I think that what we go through, we learn from, and I wouldn't be here without any of the struggles. And I'm really proud of where I am today. I don't know if I would have chosen to be sober had I not gone through all of these things. So in a way, perhaps this saved me.
So what, in your view, is going to be the hardest part about remaining sober?
Well, I don't really have a goal to stay sober. It's not about, I don't have an addiction to alcohol. What I had an addiction to was numbing myself. I wanted to give myself a chance to live my life sober. So I needed clarity to get the book done. And what I've found in it is I feel so good every day. I haven't missed a workout. I haven't made excuses. When I rest and I feel good about it. I haven't missed a meditation. So really and I don't miss drinking. I mean, every once in a while, I remember I was in Toronto 2 weeks ago and I thought, you know what? I might have a margarita at this Deftones System of a Down show. And then I was like, nah, I don't need that. I don't, what's the point? Wasting time on a drink or two. Why am I wasting $30 on a drink or two? It's just not worth it to me anymore. And it also could be the older I get. If I have one drink, I feel like shit the next day, and I don't want to feel like shit anymore. That's really what it all boils down to. And just being sober for the entirety of the last tour that we did, I felt so good every night, and I was able to bring my best to our fans. And I feel like we all owe that to them, to those who purchase tickets and take the time out to come see us perform. It's very important to me to show up for them, just like they're showing up for us.
It's true. It is so true. As a musician anyway, I've met a lot of musicians that think it's about them, but they don't understand that it's about service to others, ultimately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a great motivation to stay sober. I've been sober for, I don't even know how fucking long now, but it's probably over a decade. And
wow, that's great.
yeah, what I realize is that there's a lot of toxic culture around recovery, and you're going to be in recovery forever and you have to be afraid of yourself and things like that. But once you get like a year in, you stop getting cravings. You start to learn a lot more. You touched on a valid point in the book about how there's so much research that tells you there's no safe amount of alcohol. Once you understand that and you understand your inner world in such a way that you don't need it for anything, you can just put the stuff down. You don't have to go to 12 steps. If that's working for you, though, stay there. I'm not saying give up the chips, but it does actually get easier when you give yourself the permission to let it be easy.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I'm not counting days anymore. I was so excited when I got to 6 months. Had a day or two where I did drink this year. So it's not like I have been perfect at it. I was very triggered on my birthday, which when you read the book, you understand why birthdays triggered me. And yeah, I lost my shit and I was really depressed for about a week and I picked myself back up. But, I didn't go on a week-long bender, but I definitely went on an evening bender. So it hasn't been perfect, but I still can say that I'm sober. But again, I don't really think it's not a recovery thing for me. This was just about getting healthy and choosing me first. I wanted to stop self-sabotaging to see what I personally could accomplish when I was fully in.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I mean, again, very courageous to just be completely honest about that. But still, just for you and anybody else that might be listening, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, you're going to slip up at the beginning. If you expect not to, then you also got to look at how you self-sabotage yourself with perfectionism, because it's not a perfect science.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing about it that sucks the most is other people who make you feel like you're crazy for wanting to do something with your life because alcohol is so socially accepted or whatever it is that you want to give up. Some people want to give up caffeine and there's a Starbucks on every corner and, people are like, you're crazy. I can't live without coffee. And I'm like, okay, but that's you. And then they go, oh, but so what do? You just wake up? And I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's so important to have people around. Yeah. That support you. Like I'm not about to give up caffeine. I'm not there yet. I love my cup of coffee in the morning, every morning with my collagen protein. Like that's my MO, but I'm not going to, give you a hard time for giving up coffee. But I like with the alcohol situation. Yes, I have friends that I go to and they drink and they have cocktails and it's great. But every time I go to their house, like they have an alcohol alternative for me. They have kin drinks or they have the 3 spirits or they have Little Saints. So I'm having a mocktail. I'm having something with nootropics that's making me feel social. So I'm like able to drink with them, but it's not alcohol. There are so many incredible alcohol alternatives out now. And I'm so grateful for that. So having a good support system is pretty important. Otherwise, get them out of your life. If you don't need anyone who's going to derail you from what you're trying to do and accomplish, fuck it. Fuck them. Get them out of your life. Find your tribe. Find the people who are going to be supportive of you 100%.
Yeah, 100%. It's not worth it. Get yourself some friends like what Lindsay has.
Yes.
When you see someone and you recognize that thing inside of them that haunted you for a long time, what do you do?
Jahan, that's a very interesting question because right now I want to give everybody my book. I really want everybody to read The Girl Who Cried Love. I feel like it's so important. So I think that's the first thing I'm going to do is be like, please get my book. And I don't know how to stress the importance of it. And since we just launched the book last week, that's why it's important for everyone to speak about it and write a review. And to get it out there, because like when someone writes a book, it's like, oh, they wrote a book, but this is just such an important message. So I'm going to be pushing it as hard as I can for as long as I can, and just really hoping to get it in to the mass audience. But what do? I don't know. Love on them. Just give them a hug. Tell them it's going to be okay. Be kind. I mean, it's one thing that always sticks with me in my head is people don't give a shit about what you did. They're always going to remember how you made them feel. So every day when I'm showing up as my best self and I'm going out into the world, that's in the back of my mind. So I am the person who smiles at people, who compliments people on what they're wearing or whatever. That's who I am. If we had more people like that, it would be just delightful.
Yeah. So true. Well, Lindsay, I feel like I could talk to you forever. I feel almost like I've known you my entire life, especially after reading the book. So thanks for that.
Well, thank you for taking the time to read it. That it means a lot to me. It really does mean a lot to me that you took the time to read it.
Well, I appreciate the gift that you've given to all of us out here in the world. And thanks for being on the Boundless Authenticity podcast. What I will say is that Lindsay Manfredi's The Girl Who Cried Love is a powerful and raw and truly inspiring book. It's actually more than just a book. It's about personal challenges with self-sabotage, a topic that's very dear to me. And what I think is happening is that Lindsay is actively inviting the reader to discover their own self-worth by carefully paying attention to negative automatic patterns of thinking and behaving, as well as the thoughts and emotions that accompany them. And once I picked it up, I could not put it down. So please get out there and grab a copy, dive in, and let her story inspire your own transformation. Lindsay, thanks for caring enough about yourself and other people to do everything that you do. And thanks for being on the Boundless Authenticity podcast again. Please tell everyone where they can find you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Johanna. I really appreciate it. And I loved the conversation. You can find me at lindsaymanfredi.com. You can find me on all social medias at Lindsay Manfredi. If you Google me or just type in my name, I can be found everywhere. I sell the signed copies of the book on my website. It is currently, the ebook is on sale for 99 cents on Amazon. Of course, I would love a hard copy in your hands, but if you're on a budget or if you are just whatever, just get the book, because right now it's on sale for 99 cents. And also you can get the hard copy on Amazon as well. And Barnes and Noble. Oh, and I did the audio book as well. So it's on anywhere you stream audiobooks. I narrated it. And so it's me reading to you the story.
Fantastic. And I just remembered, tell us about Beneath the Low Hum before you go.
Oh, yes. So we are going out on tour cold, and you can find us on YouTube and on all the streaming platforms as well. We are going out on tour in October. We're doing a select city wineries tour. So we're hitting only 7 cities: Boston, Philly, Pittsburgh, Chicago, St. Louis, Atlanta, and Nashville. And we're also doing a benefit in New Orleans in between those days, raising money for psychosis. We have friends who have Calm is what it's called, and they are really bringing awareness to psychosis, and they have a lot of programs for their patients. So all the benefits are going towards psychosis development and education and programs. And of course, you know that mental health has always been near and dear to us as a band. So we're very honored. It's a black tie event, and we're all very excited about it. But City Wineries is where we're going to be playing in those select cities. We've got links in all of our bios on social media. we also have VIP. We're doing VIP on our tour bus this year. So anybody who gets a VIP ticket gets to actually come onto our tour bus. And we've got some really cool swag for our VIP people. And we're also doing a private label with City Winery that is going to have a special cold beneath the low hum label on their wine that will be available for purchase.
All right. Well,
so I have links for all that stuff everywhere. So if you want to grab them, Jahan, when you're promoting this, you can. They're in my link in my bio on Instagram.
I was just going to say, I'll make sure to put that in the show notes.
That'd be great.
All right. Thanks again, Lindsay.
You're listening to the Boundless Authenticity podcast, where we discuss everything related to the evolution of human consciousness.
At the very least, people need to understand that the United States builds bunkers, which are basically cities underground, every 3 months.
Basically, when you dream, you tap into your subconscious. It is your nocturnal intuition, your creativity and imagination unchained from conscious reason, ego and logic.
They're biologically alive, but they have no soul. They have AI consciousness. They can alter your conscious and the brain to get the brain.
We live in a multidimensional reality. Whether it comes through esoteric information in the spiritual realms, or the UFO people, experiencers, or mainstream through quantum physics and through mainstream science now realizing that parallel dimensions probably exist.
We're all spiritual beings. We're all having these human experiences. We've heard that phrase over and over and over. But what does that really mean?
All the big questions of life, we have these answers inside of our souls.
We're ultimately studying the nature of what it is to be human, good and evil, our psychology, how we think, and our health. That's why I love Bruce Lee's great quote, all knowledge is ultimately self-knowledge.
The Boundless Authenticity podcast.